Hello, and what is up, fellow people? And today, well, obviously, as you know, I am a game developer. Sorry for this OBS Studio screen. I promise I will get onto the video in a second. But, how do you make a video game? That's a very good question. It's actually an awesome question that I will be answering today in today's tutorial video on how to get started video game developing with absolutely no experience. Yeah, so you probably are super lost, and obviously, if you know, a game engine is where the place where you code your game. There's so much to choose from. I just chose four to showcase. There's Scratch, there's GDevelop, there's Unity, and there's Unreal, and there's thousands more. But I'm sorry to admit, but if you're just getting started out, you might sound like I'm holding you back, but seriously, don't do Unity or Unreal. See, look, like, you gotta understand, Fortnite was made in Unreal. Like, I'm sorry, as much you either are setting your expectations really low, or you're setting them very high. I know when I started out, I was setting them huge, and I wanted to do either Unity or Unreal, but I'm sorry, that is not happening. So I've been game developing for almost 3 years now, and I'm nowhere close to being ready for Unity. But if you really want to, you can of course check it out. It's just gonna be very confusing, in my opinion. And then there's GDevelop. This one's interesting because I don't recommend it for beginners. Because, it's actually very helpful. Basically, you make games with no code at all. Like, well, obviously, like, here, I'll just give you an example. If I go to create, I'm just gonna create new game, whatever, empty project, whatever, yep. It's no scripting or coding involved. See, I'm just gonna click add new object. And I haven't really actually made a game in GDevelop before, so if you want to see a video with me trying to do it, make sure to drop a like or a comment. So I'm just going to do sprite, create with Biscuit, I guess. I don't know if I said that right or not. I'll just draw it, you get the point. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to. It's just like, there's no code, it's just a lot of like stuff like that. But if you're beginning out, I 1,000,000% suggest Scratch for sure. Oh, it's always Scratch. You can do see, I've been on Scratch for 2 years, 3 months, and look at this. I've made so many projects, it's crazy. Some of them are terrible, like whatever the heck this is. Seriously, what is this? What's happening? But anyway, there's the good projects, like for example, sorry for the silence. Like for example, this. I made a 3D video game in Scratch. And just to let you know, 3D is very hard in Scratch. You're not going to be able to do this right off the bat. But if once you get very good at Scratch and understand it, go right ahead to making 3D games. This was a lot of fun, and I only made this game in a few hours. Of course, with a bunch of YouTube tutorials. Not gonna act like I'm a genius here, but yeah. And then I can make online. Also, I look how much code went into this game. I'm just gonna. Here's just the player. And then there's the level, which doesn't have much. But then there's the Raycaster. It doesn't seem like a lot, but trust me, it took a while. And then, of course, there's RetroQuest, which is my first online video game. Anyway, I could spend forever showcasing these video games. But I think you want to know, how do you create one? So, yeah, let's hop right in. this little create button. And then look, we'll hop into this little area with a scratch, sorry about that, with a scratch cat, you know, just chilling out here. And then, this might seem a little confusing, but you'll get it. And we wanna, how about just for the sake of this video, we make the scratch cat move. So, I'm just gonna make it move up and down. So when up arrow clicked, or when up arrow key pressed, we are going to move, this is going to be kind of weird, change Y by 10. That's going to make no sense to you probably, or if it does, great. Because it made no sense for me when I started out, but look, now it moves up. And then we can make it move down like this. Anyway, sorry for the silence. But we can always create down arrow. We're going to change Y by -10. Now, if we start the project, also, sorry, I didn't mention this, the green flag button is the go for this project. We can go up and down. See? Gotta move fast. Though this movement feels very choppy, but, you know, it's pretty good. And if we want to make it move left and right, we need to change X by 10. And then change, sorry about that, we're going to change X by, then for left arrow, we're going to change X by -10. Now, our scratch cat can roam. And I know we probably want another backdrop than just a white one, so for the sake of this video, I'm just going to make it purple. You can convert to bitmap, click convert to bitmap, then click the fill tool, and now it's purple. I know it's not much of a project, but trust me, it'll get better. We're going to move this little guy. We want it to have an enemy, let's say. So we're going to create a new sprite. We could either, so I'm going to draw this sprite. And I'm going to make this little guy a little black square. And we can just hold down our trackpads and mouses and create a square that kind of looks like that. We can make it a little smaller too if we want. We can do whatever we want with it. And then we can click into the sprite too. And then we're going to make it move randomly. So it's going to be you know, chasing around the scratch cat. I'm going to click when green flag clicked. Then we're going to go to control and drag out a forever loop. And then put glide 1 second to random position. And then I'm going to do another when green flag clicked. Forever block. Then we're going to put an if block in that forever block. If touching our sprite 1, which is our little scratch cat over here, we want it to say game over, for example. So we're going to head into backdrops, click backdrops. We obviously have this one backdrop, then we're going to, this might seem very basic, but for a first game, this is pretty good. Just to let you know. Sorry about that. And then we're going to just put out a text box maybe and write game over. Then I'm gonna click that and boom. Make it super big. Just, you know, drag that into the middle of the screen. Resize it a little bit. Then maybe I'll change the color to white. You don't have to do any of this stuff. I'm just doing it for the sake of the video. Oh, and then you can change the background to that. You can, here, you don't have to do this, but then we're going to just put this little black square up in the top corner. Then just do that, and then drag the game over block onto there. No, I'll just scrap that idea. I'm just going to put that there, then change the color to, black. So here's how this should look. Game over. Then we want it to start on this, because when we start the game, we don't want it to start on our game over thing. So when we start the game, we don't want to see game over. Yeah, so we're going to just click. When green flag clicks, go, sorry about that, switch backdrop to backdrop 1. But then, so we want to make it so if basically our scrap cat touches its enemy, so right here, when green flag click forever, if touching sprite 1, switch backdrop to backdrop 2, then we want it to just stop the game too. So stop all. And here's how our game should work. Oh, obviously we want the little square thing to not immediately touch the cat, right as we start the game. So we're gonna want to put when green flag clicked, go to 0, 0. And then we're going to put our cat, and then we're going to put our cat when green flag clicked. You can drag the cat to wherever you want on the screen. I'm going to put it right here, and then just drag out the go to block for that. Now that we got that out of the way, here's what our game should look like, buddy. See, it's going to bounce around, and we got to avoid it, but when we touches it, it says game over. That looks good. Thank you for joining in on this tutorial series, and I hope you enjoy.